Hello beautiful, my name is Shar Nicole and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to have a little girls chat. I have kind of like updated you on things, tidbits here in past videos. I did a pre-surgery video and now I'm doing a post-op surgery video, as well as talking about selling my house, where I'm living, what I'm doing, what's going on. Let's just chat like we're good girlfriends, okay? So no judgment here. I won't judge you, don't you judge me. So come on, stay tuned. Let's talk, let's chat, let's see what's up, okay? So it has been a minute since I talked about this, and I kind of really wanted to allow it to marinate, and that is my tummy tuck and muscle separation surgery. So I am now 8 months out. I had my surgery September 1st and I feel great. Let's just start there. Like, I feel great now. I will backtrack, and the main reason I wanted to wait because I wanted to give a real assessment of the process. They say it typically takes a year before you really see a full difference. And I felt like 8 months, I'm at a good point, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So the first day coming home from surgery was a blur. I still was kind of drugged up. I do remember having to climb stairs, and I remember minimal pain, but I feel like the next day when I got up, I think it hit me. So disclaimer, I did have 3 C-sections in prior pregnancies with my children. So I did have something to compare it to, kind of being cut down there. And for me, the tummy tuck was less painful. And I was surprised. I thought that I was going to be in this huge amount of pain. I prepared just in case I was, you know, to have the items nearby that would help me be comfortable. And I didn't need them. This is my experience. I don't know about you. I don't know about anybody else who had the surgery. I don't know if you decide to have the surgery, will this be your experience? But for me, this experience was by far less pain than what I anticipated. So I was sent home with some codeine pills or something like that, or it was stronger than codeine. I can't think of the name, but I was sent home with some strong pills. I did not take them because I had similar pills after a C-section and I did not like the way it made me feel. So I do suggest that if you do not have a high tolerance for pain, or you don't know if this is your first time having surgery and you're not quite sure, I say take the pain meds, see how you feel. But you don't want to get to the point of pain and then have to backtrack with trying to medicate that, because trust me, I've been there. You don't want that. So yeah, so the tummy tuck, it took about 5 hours, 6 hours. Mind you, I didn't just have a tummy tuck. I actually went in more so for muscle separation, and in the process of getting that repaired, of course, they cut the fat and gave me a flatter abdominal area. And the reason I had that surgery was because I did have 5 children and my abdominal muscles separated severely. They were like totally unconnected. And yeah, my plastic surgeon was like, that is the worst she has ever seen. But the results I'm very much happy with. I am still in my garment 8 months later, mainly because of swelling. And okay, so let's get back. So within the first week, I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to my appointment. I got the tubes taken out. That was painful. I'm not going to lie, that hurt. Got the tubes taken out. It hurt, but it was very quick. And after that, a week from there, I started getting massages. So let me just say this to you. If you are deciding to have surgery, girlfriend, make sure you have money aside for post-op care, and a part of that post-op care is going to get massages. And the type of massages I got was the lymphatic drainage massages, and it's very important and it can be very costly. So I was going twice a week. I discussed with my surgeon, and she suggested that the most I needed was 2 times a week, especially because of how severe mine was. I couldn't have as much pressure. So let me just also say that make sure you're choosing who you're using wisely. The young woman I had, if you're in this area, I will link her down below, as well as my surgeon. She was great. I didn't even really have to tell her the extent of my surgery. I didn't even get a chance to really tell her. She could already tell, and she was very much gentle. She did all of her stuff manually with her hands. She didn't use all the wooded, items that she typically would use on other people. She was great. I mean, I felt comfortable. It didn't hurt. I definitely could feel the fluid coming out because after she was done, I was running to the restroom. So it definitely was a great experience for that. But I went twice a week for 6 weeks, and it was $90 a session. So that's $180 a week. So keep this in mind when you're deciding to have surgery, that things can add up. My particular surgery ended up costing me about $9,000. Now, had I not had surgery at a hospital and I had it in my surgeon's facility, it probably would have been about $6,000. Now, the reason we did it was because there was so much damage to my stomach. It looked like I might have had a hernia based on a CT scan. So they wanted to have a surgeon who did hernia repairs in the, OR or nearby, just in case that had to be done hand in hand. It just so happened that that wasn't the case, but it was great that my plastic surgeon was on top of it. She was the one that sent me to see the hernia surgeon. Like, she was just great. I love a surgeon who is invested in not just getting your money and not just making your body look good, but also making sure you are in a controlled environment where you are protected if anything goes wrong, and also who looks at other dynamics that could affect your surgery. And she is definitely one of those surgeons. So once again, I will link her information down below. So I was doing that for 6 weeks. I did end up having, 6 weeks of that passed, and it was at the 8-week mark that we started to notice from the just for that week of having the tubes in, my skin heals really fast. It's healed around the tubes, causing kind of like a flap around where the tube was at. So when she pulled it out and it started to heal, it made, like, on the ends of my abdominal area where it was scarred at, it made it pucker out where it was like pockets of fat, and it just didn't look right. You could tell something had grown around it. So she said, she had been monitoring that, and she did explain to me, because it was a concern of mine, but once again, choosing the right surgeon, before I could really bring up the concern, she already had mentioned it at one of my appointments, at the 8-week appointment. She said at my 3-month appointment, she would redo that and cut that skin out and reattach. That hurt. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Sis, let me give you a disclaimer. I got a bunch of disclaimers. So, not only do I have high tolerance for pain, yes, that just means too that it takes a lot to numb areas. Like, even when I had my C-sections, when I was getting ready to go underneath the knife, I told the surgeon, I told the anesthesiologist, look, I have a tough time with drugs working. Like, I'm not going to need the typical numbing that you do, like at the belly button, up to the belly button. Child, I'm going to need you to numb all the way up here, okay? Because I don't want to be on the table and feel nothing during this C-section. So, yeah, my anesthesiologist in that instance was good. When it came time for this surgery, when it came time for this repair, it was in office, and it was a local anesthesia that she injected into the site. And she began to cut, and it was fine. And then we got to this one spot on the end that apparently it just didn't take. And she went to cut, and sis, girl, I felt the cuts, okay? It was like I was about to pass out. Like, I mean, she immediately grabbed the numbed it, but it happened. It happened. And she went on right talking, trying to get my mind off of it. But sis, it happened, and I was hurting. So that was the only, that was the biggest issue I had. And it really wasn't her fault, because she did numb around the whole area and even went deeper in. I mean, it just so happens sometimes things like that will occur. And it occurred to me. Why me? I don't know, but it happened. And that was that. So since that, I have been amping my care of the scar, since that has now healed and we're 8 months out. And I'm like, I'm sorry, no, correction. I did not have the repair at 3 months. It was at 6 months. So 6 months I had the repair on the ends. So it was at 6 months when I had that done. So let's go ahead now to 8 months. After the 6 months when it healed, here we are. I make sure that I have a regimen to ensure that my scar is healing to the best of its ability. Yes, I am known to heal really good based on my scarring from my C-sections. However, This scar is much longer, much wider, or whatever, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just walking around looking chopped and screwed, okay? So 2 to 3 times a day, I use bio oil on my skin. I also use the Palmer's Skin Therapy Oil. So I use that. So I use the Skin Therapy Oil as a massaging oil. So I massage the area in circular motions just to help flatten out the scar. This is very good. This was actually recommended in my instructions of care once the healing process has started. And I just go in with that on each side. I typically try to do 1 minute. It's helpful if you can do longer. And I add light pressure with 2 fingers, even though I'm using all of my hand, the palm of my hand in that area. The 2 fingers are kind of pressing in that area just to, you know, smooth things out. And then I follow up by massaging with my bio oil on top. I love bio oil. And I will say that although I'm only 8 months out, they typically say you can see more so of a result of it disappearing around 2 years, depending on the person's skin. For me, I don't keloid. I do heal pretty fast. I don't bruise easily. So I'm grateful for those things. But I am starting to see it along the long line of my scar. I would say in sections towards the center. It's unnoticeable. Like you can't even tell. I think the ends will take a little longer to actually disappear because I had to have that follow-up procedure of cutting out that extra skin, which I'm not worried about. I feel like just based on the way that things are going, by year 2 it'll be completely just unnoticeable, you know, to the eye immediately, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely am enjoying the results. I do continually have swelling at the top, but I still love the results that I'm having from the surgery. I'm not quite yet there where I'm ready to not wear my garment. The garment I have is like a strap garment here, and it clasps and zip here, and it, you know, clasps underneath the vaginal area. I will say that I don't like that because the size I got was a small because of my abdominal area. It needed that. The medium was getting baggy. However, the medium fit better on my bum. The small fits tight and it's kind of like smushing it in. So, you know, I'm going out with the smush fanny. But it's okay. It's okay because I'd rather had a smush fanny and a flat belly than to have a little poke and a poke in the front. Okay, I'm not even worried about that. This is a temporary thing. But I do love the garment that I have. It definitely me in and controls the swelling. I was definitely happy the other day. I had worked out at home. I did, okay, I'm jumping all over the place. I did work out the other day. I just want to say this quick thing. And of course, I did not have on my compression garment, but I did have on like my sweatband, you know, trying to get that extra elevated sweat, get that stomach together, because although my stomach is flat, I definitely want it to be flatter because the swelling, you know, different things can cause it to be just a little bulge, not noticeable where people would be like, oh my goodness, does she really have a tummy tuck, girl? No, it's still giving tummy tuck, you know, but there is still elements to it that you got to do your part because my abdominal issue was so severe. I do have to do my part. But anyway, when I got up and I took the band off, girl, I could see abs. Girl, because I ain't get no ab action or nothing when I got the tummy tuck. Girl, I don't know the last time I seen abs. I had my son in 2000, my first child in 2005. Girl, I probably seen abs back in 2001 when I graduated from high school, okay? It's been a long time. I almost didn't even recognize what it was until my cousin and my husband kind of pointed it out. And I was like, the girl got abs up there, okay? It's trying to poke through. Let me keep doing these exercises so I can really have a six-pack. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy about that. So let's get into the emotional, the mental, and all of that came along with the surgery, which I was just not aware of. Girl, I ain't nobody talking about that. Nobody talk about depression that comes from after having surgery. I cannot give you a clinical diagnosis of why this occurred, but I felt depressed. Sis, I felt depressed after the surgery. And it wasn't about anything else but the surgery. Well, mainly about the surgery. I just felt like Debbie Downer a little bit. You know, it kind of just felt like, in a sense, I still kind of saw my body as the space that it was prior to surgery. And just like anybody who lose weight or work out and not quite seeing the results, but it's there. Other people are seeing it, but you just don't see it. I still was kind of dressing for my previous body, and I just felt like, why did I go through all that processing, all that money for nothing? You know, I mean, this was the thought process that I was having because I just could not see it. And here I am 8 months later, and I'm just now coming to the realization that, boo, you look good just the way you are. Even if the stomach ain't on flat, you look good because it's better than where you was at. You know, it definitely is way better than where I was at, right? Nobody is asking me if I'm pregnant now. Before this, people was asking me how far along I was because sis was looking like she was showing, okay? And I wasn't pregnant. But I definitely am in a place now where I am getting settled into this new body. I'm dressing, I'm putting on dresses, and I'm like, I'm loving the way I'm looking. Even when it swells, I'm not even tripping off of that. I'm definitely just like, I'm just loving the look. And another thing, nobody really tells you, I guess I have heard more of this. When you typically have plastic surgery, you get to thinking about more plastic surgery. I'm not gonna lie, girl, I'm thinking about the breasts. I'm thinking about getting fat lipo from the arms, you know, but you do start to think about these different things because it's like, wow, if that process chiseled my body this way, what other process can chisel the things that I'm not happy with? So yeah, so I will say, as soon as I got the clear, let's jump back. As soon as I got the clear and the go ahead, I got a personal trainer and I started working out with them for a while, and then I caught COVID. Caught COVID, girl. Caught COVID and brought it into my whole house, to my family, right? And I was working with a trainer, and you know, people had on masks, and he wasn't training a bunch of people. It was just me and 2 other people in his own gym. And sis, I still caught it. And I just was like, I can't do it. I cannot go back yet because I do have a daughter who is on medication, and I just can't put my toddlers in risk that way. Although I am vaccinated, I just couldn't put my toddlers, who obviously can't get vaccinated, in, you know, in harm's way because of this. So yeah, so now I'm at a space where I'm just working out at home, getting my body together as much as possible in the home. So now that we've got that out the way, let's go ahead and segue and let's chat. If you have been following me, you may know this. If you're new, of course you don't know this, but last June we sold our home. We had got our house built in 2016. When we got our house built, we had 2 children. Although we did have a 5-bedroom home, it was 4 bedrooms on the bedroom level, with 2 bathrooms up there, a bathroom in the master and a bathroom in the hallway. And then it was a 5th bedroom on the main level with a bathroom. And yes, in the grand scheme of things, it was a lot of space. And then we had a daughter. And I was thinking more so long term. I could have waited. In 2019, I had thought about selling my home, and God told me to wait a year. And I obeyed, and when I waited a year, the market had, and it definitely was a seller's market. And honey, it was way worth what I would have gotten a year prior. So I know it was God. So we sold our home in anticipation of getting another house built. We were unclear where we were going to get it built, but our house sold faster than what we thought. It literally sold in the first week, and we put it on the market. Although we knew it was a seller's market, it still was like it sold quick. And we scrambled and we moved into a 3-bedroom apartment. Don't judge me. I moved me, my husband, and my 5 children into a 3-bedroom apartment because I was obeying God when he said that we can sell. Now, the reason I'm saying I is because I got the word from God, and my husband trusted the word that I got. Now, I just want to encourage somebody. I want to stop there before I tell you what's going on, where we are, what's the what. It's sometimes easy to have faith, to walk, to run, to leave away, you know, to step away from something, right? But what about the faith it takes when God says, wait? Wait. So he told us to sell, gave us the go ahead, the clear, boom. In our mind, we get into this apartment. We probably going to be here. We, you know, finally found a particular community. We wasn't quite really into it, but we were like, we're just going to do it because we need to do it, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, it's only going to take about 6 months to build. So that was like 2 months after we moved in. So that was, we moved in June. So 2 months later from that, August, they was like, it's going to take 6 months. We thought we'd be in the house by March, whatever. And we just wasn't feeling it. Me and my husband's like, I don't think this house. Mind you, we wanted to stay in the area we were in. We did not want to go outside our area. My oldest son is in high school here, so it was imperative that he remained in his school. My other child who was in school, he's in the 2nd grade. For him, it's a little different because he was transitioning from DC to Maryland schools anyway, so it didn't really matter. But we wanted to make sure that my oldest son stayed in his high school. And so there wasn't any other communities to look at around here. Besides the community we just sold out of, they were building again in that community. They didn't have the house we were looking, type of house we were looking for. And in this new community, it had the amount of like rooms and bathrooms, but the space was smaller than the house we sold. And we were just like, all these things started happening. You know, they would say we got to put down this, put down that, you know, in advance before the 6 months before we go to the table, which we thought was ridiculous because why would I give you all my money up front, you know, and it's going to take 6, maybe 7 months to build and you just have my money and we don't know if something's going to go wrong. We don't know. So it didn't sit well with us. And I took it back to God and all these things started happening. And then my husband was like, check out this community. And we checked out the community and I was like, yes, that's it. It has the house, the style house we want, the things that we need. Great. Boom. Then the other builders are calling after God said, no, you don't need to go there. They're like, oh, no. Just give us what, you know, what you, we're going to go with the percentage and blah, 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 blah. And I heard God say, that's not it. So that was not it, right? So that was in like, by that time, that was like September. And we go to the other community. We see the model that we were interested in. And we loved it. Girl, it was everything. We loved that community. We loved, I'm not going to say necessarily the community. We love the home. We love the model that they had. It had the specific needs that would fit our family, where our daughter would have her own bathroom. You know, the Jack and Jill bedrooms was sharing about. It just fit our family needs. And then guess what? They sold the last lot. They sold the last lot. I was so upset. I was hurt. I went back to God and said, God, what are you doing? You said this is the community. Blah, 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 blah. But guess what, sis? When God is in the midst of it, his timing is not your timing. His timing is his timing. In my mind, what I thought was going to be at max a 1-year process of living like this, God has extended that. So here we are. It is May. Today in particular, where's my phone? I'm recording this. It is May 4th. And we are still in a 3-bedroom apartment. Right? And I'm not gonna lie, it has been rough. It has been